Two, you ever seen a man pray for a harvest but never pick up a plow? A woman begging God for a breakthrough but refusing to break a sweat? Two, listen, heaven doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to warriors. The divine law is clear. God moves when you move. He fuels the fight you start, blesses the hands you put to work. Two, so if you're waiting, let's talk about the most dangerous lie people believe. That faith is passive. That if you just pray hard enough, to if you just believe deeply enough, success will fall into your lap like ripe fruit from a tree. No. Faith is not a magic trick, it's a collaboration. Two, the moment you decide to act, that's when the universe conspires with you. Think about it. Two, why would God plant dreams inside of you if He didn't also give you the legs to chase them? Why would He put a vision in your spirit if He didn't expect you to move toward it? Every great story in history, biblical, philosophical. Two, entrepreneurial starts with someone taking the first step. Noah didn't wait for the flood to start building. Two, Moses didn't wait for the Red Sea to part before leaving Egypt. They moved first, and then the miracle met them halfway. Psychologically, two, this is how human potential works. The brain doesn't reward wishful thinking, it rewards action. When you take that first step, no matter how small, two, you trigger something powerful, momentum. Doubt starts to shrink, fear loses its grip, and suddenly what felt impossible becomes inevitable. Two, that's not just psychology, that's divinity in motion. God wired you to respond to your own courage. But here's where most people get stuck. Two, they want a guarantee before they start. They want God to show them the whole staircase before they take the first step. Two, but faith doesn't work like that. Faith is stepping onto the first stair, knowing the next one will appear. Two, it's applying for the job before you're ready. It's launching the business before you have all the answers. Because here's the truth. Two, you don't get the answers until you start asking the questions. And let's be real, inaction isn't humility, it's disobedience. Two, if you're sitting on a gift, a vision, a calling, and you refuse to move because you're waiting on God, ask yourself, what if God is waiting on you? Two, what if the provision, the opportunity, the breakthrough is already lined up, but it can't reach you until you take responsibility for your own hands, two, your own feet, your own hustle. So here's the challenge. What's the one thing you've been praying for that you need to start working toward today? To not tomorrow, not when the stars align, now. Because the moment you move, heaven moves with you. G on a miracle. Ask yourself, are you miracle ready? Let me ask you something. Two, when was the last time you prayed for something, really poured your heart out, only to sit back and wait for the heavens to drop it in your lap? Be honest. Because here's what we need to confront. Prayer is not a substitute for effort. It's the fuel, not the vehicle. Two, you don't whisper a wish into the universe and then fold your arms. No, you whisper that prayer and then you put your hands to work. Two, think about the way nature operates. A farmer doesn't just pray for a harvest. He tills the soil, plants the seeds, pulls the weeds. He understands that his faith is measured in sweat, not just words. The same principle applies to you. Want that promotion? Pray, then master your craft to outwork your competition and position yourself for the opportunity. Dream of starting a business, believe, but also research, plan, two, and take that first terrifying step. Faith without works isn't just dead, it's self-deception. Psychologically, this is why so many people feel stuck. Two, they've confused hope with strategy. Hope is passive, strategy is active. Hope says maybe one day. Strategy says today I do this. Two, and when you align the two, when your faith ignites your hustle, that's when the impossible becomes inevitable. Because here's the truth, God doesn't bless idle wishes, He blesses applied effort. Now, let's go deeper. Why do we resist this? Why do we cling to the idea that faith alone should be enough? Because action requires risk. It demands that we step out of our comfort zones to face rejection and confront our own limitations. Prayer feels safe. It's between us and God, but action puts us on the line. Two, it makes us vulnerable to failure, to criticism, to the terrifying question, what if I'm not enough? But here's what you must understand. Two, faith is the antidote to that fear. Real faith doesn't just believe in God, it believes in the strength God placed inside you. Two, it's not just trusting that He can do it, it's trusting that He equipped you to do it. So when you pray for strength, two, don't just wait for a supernatural bolt of energy. Get up and use the strength you already have. When you pray for wisdom, don't just wait for divine downloads. Crack open a book, seek a mentor, learn from your mistakes. This is the sacred partnership. You move. God moves with you. You don't wait for the path to appear. You start walking and the path unfolds beneath your feet too. Let me tell you something you already know, but maybe haven't fully accepted. Your struggles aren't random. Two, they're not some cosmic punishment or unlucky break. They're invitations, divine tests designed to reveal what you're truly made of. Two, every obstacle standing between you and your destiny isn't there to stop you, it's there to prepare you. Two, think about the most transformative moments of your life. I'm willing to bet they didn't come during seasons of comfort. Two, but in those crushing moments when you had to dig deeper than you ever thought possible. That's not coincidence, that's design. Two, the universe operates on a simple principle: no pressure, no diamond. You don't develop resilience by reading about it. Two, you earn it by pushing through when every fiber of your being wants to quit. Here's what most people get wrong. Two, they see obstacles as roadblocks when they're actually launching pads. The weight that feels like it's crushing you. Want them to, that's the same force that's going to propel you forward once you learn how to wield it. Two, but here's the catch: you have to persist long enough for the transformation to happen. One more application after 20 rejections. One more rep when your muscles are screaming. One more day of showing up when no one's applauding. Psychologically, we're wired to seek comfort too, but spiritually, we're designed for growth. And those two forces are constantly at war within you. The moment an obstacle appears, two, your brain starts crafting escape routes. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should wait for a better time. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Two, but your spirit knows better. It whispers, keep going. This is where the magic happens. Now, let's talk about divine intervention too, because this is where it gets powerful. Divine intervention doesn't usually look like a supernatural rescue from your struggles. More often, two, it shows up as strength you didn't know you had. As doors opening after you've worn out your knuckles knocking. Two, as solutions appearing while you're in motion, not while you're waiting on the sideline. Two, the biblical David didn't defeat Goliath. By avoiding him, he ran toward the giant. The miracle wasn't that the stone hit its mark. Two, the miracle was the courage to step onto that battlefield in the first place. That's the pattern you need to recognize. Two, breakthrough comes on the other side of persistence. So I need you to reframe how you see your challenges starting today. That difficult client, that's your training ground for patience and negotiation. That financial struggle, that's your masterclass in resourcefulness. That rejection, two, that's redirection to something better suited for your gifts. Two, there's a dangerous story we tell ourselves when life gets hard. A story where we're the helpless victim of unfair circumstances, where the world is against us, and where our struggles are someone else's fault. And here's the painful truth: that story is a prison. Two, the moment you convince yourself that external forces control your destiny, you hand over the keys to your own freedom. Two, because here's what you must understand: God didn't give you a spirit of victimhood. He gave you agency. He gave you authority too. And every time you blame instead of act, you reject the very power He placed within you. Think about this. To what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck isn't luck, privilege, or even talent. It's ownership. Two, the person who thrives looks at their obstacles and says, this is mine to overcome. The person who stays trapped looks at those same obstacles and says, two, this is why I can't. Both face the same challenge, but one takes responsibility while the other surrenders to excuses. And here's the brutal reality. Two, excuses don't change your life, action does. Now, let's be clear, this isn't about denying hardship. Life is unfair. Injustice does exist, too. But here's the critical distinction: acknowledging your challenges is wisdom. Using them as an excuse is weakness. Two, you can recognize that the deck was stacked against you and still decide to play your hand. Two, because history isn't made by people who had perfect conditions. It's made by people who refuse to let their conditions define them psychologically. Two, victimhood is seductive because it lets us off the hook. If it's not our fault, we don't have to change. If the system is rigged, we don't have to try. But that mindset is a slow death, a surrender of your God-given power to create, overcome, and rise. And the moment you adopt it, 2, you silence the voice inside you that says, I was built for more. So how do you break free? You start by asking a different question. 2, now why does this always happen to me? But what can I do about it? Now who's to blame? But what's my next move? Because here's the secret, 2. The circumstances you curse today could be the very foundation of your comeback tomorrow if you choose to use them as fuel instead of an alibi. This is the essence of faith, not the belief that God will remove every obstacle, 2, but the unshakable conviction that He gave you everything you need to climb them. So stop waiting for the world to change. Stop waiting for permission. 2, stop waiting for someone to save you. You are the miracle you've been praying for. Think about Joseph in the Bible. 2, he didn't go from the prison to the palace just because he had a dream. He got out there because he interpreted dreams in that prison. 2, he proved his gift where he was, so when the opportunity came, he was ready. That's the pattern. That's the law. You don't get what you want. 2, you get what you're prepared for. So if you're sitting around waiting for your big break without sharpening your skills, 2, without building your knowledge, without positioning yourself, you're not waiting on God, you're wasting time. Now, 2, let's get psychological for a moment. Why do so many people miss their moment when it comes? Because they suffer from what I call readiness paralysis, the delusion that they need to be 100% qualified before they step up. Listen, 2, you will never feel completely ready. That's not how growth works. The confidence you're waiting for, it comes after you start, not before. 2, the perfect conditions, they don't exist. The right time is now, and the right preparation is whatever you've managed to gather so far. 2, here's the truth about divine opportunities. They don't look like golden tickets falling from the sky. They look like tests. That job opening, 2, it's a test of whether you've been developing your skills. That chance to lead, it's a test of whether you've been faithful in small things. That idea burning in your spirit, it's a test of whether you'll act on it or just talk about it. 2, God doesn't waste big opportunities on people who haven't proven themselves with small ones. So I need you to ask yourself, 2, what doors are already cracked open that you're ignoring because you're waiting for a grand invitation? That connection you haven't reached out to that skill you haven't sharpened, that idea you haven't acted on. Those aren't coincidences, they're divine setups. But here's the catch, 2. Setup requires follow through. Preparation is worthless if you don't position yourself where opportunity can find you. This is where most people fail. 2, they pray for open doors, but they never walk up to the door. They ask for favor, but they don't put themselves in rooms where favor can reach them. 2, listen, you can't expect harvest where you haven't planted seeds. You can't expect blessings where you haven't shown up. Think about it this way. 2 people grow up in the same tough neighborhood. One blames the environment for their struggles and stays stuck. The other decides, this is my reality, 2, but it won't be my future. And they grind until they break the cycle. What's the difference? Accountability. 2, the willingness to look in the mirror and say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. That's the mindset shift that changes everything, 2. Because when you stop pointing fingers, you reclaim your power. When you stop waiting for rescue, you become your own rescue. Now, 2, let's talk about why this is so hard. Accountability terrifies us because it means admitting we have control. And with control comes responsibility. 2, it's easier to say the economy is bad than to ask, what skills am I lacking? It's easier to say nobody gave me a chance than to ask, how can I make myself undeniable? But here's the paradox, 2, the moment you take full responsibility for your life is the moment you unlock the ability to change it. Psychologically, 2, this is where most people get trapped. They confuse explanation with justification. Yes, your past may explain why you're where you are, but it doesn't justify staying there. Yes, 2, life may have knocked you down, but only you can decide to get back up. And here's the kicker, God honors that decision, 2. He doesn't step in for those who refuse to step up. He meets you at the level of your accountability. So what does this look like in practice? 2, it means auditing your life with brutal honesty. That dream you gave up on, whose fault is that? That habit holding you back. Who allowed it? That opportunity you missed, were you truly ready for it? This isn't about guilt, it's about clarity. 2, because when you identify where you've abdicated responsibility, you reclaim the power to rewrite the story. Here's the bottom line. 2, miracles happen when preparation meets opportunity, but preparation is your job. Doors open when faith meets action, but action is your move. God will provide the wind, but you must raise the sail. 2, there's a dangerous misconception floating around. That divine guidance only comes in quiet moments of prayer through signs and whispers. 2, but I'm here to tell you God speaks loudest through your action. That fire in your spirit when you're working on your craft, that's Him. 2, that sudden clarity that hits you mid-stride while you're grinding, that's Him. To that unexpected door that swings open after you've been knocking relentlessly, that's Him too. Faith isn't a spectator sport, it's a contact one. 2, and if you're waiting for a billboard from heaven before you move, you'll be waiting forever. Think about how inspiration actually works. 2, the great ideas, the ones that change lives and build legacies, rarely come to people lounging on the couch. They come to those already in motion. Why? 2, because motion creates friction, and friction creates sparks. When you're hustling, when you're pushing, to when you're doing, you're not just working for God, you're working with Him. The Bible says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, not his sitting, not his wishing, his steps. Movement is where the magic happens. Now, 2, let's get real about why this is so hard for so many. We've been conditioned to separate the spiritual from the practical. 2, we pray for financial breakthrough, but won't learn about money management. We ask God for a thriving business, but skip the market research. We beg for purpose, but refuse to try anything outside our comfort zone. That's not faith, that's fantasy. True faith rolls up its sleeves. 2, it understands that God partners with effort, not daydreams. Here's the psychological truth. 2, action isn't just the result of clarity, it's the path to it. You don't figure everything out first and then act. You act, and through action, you figure it out. Every step forward illuminates the next one. Every risk taken sharpens your discernment. Every failure refines your direction. 2, that's why the most successful people aren't those with the most certainty. They're the ones who embraced the uncertainty and moved anyway. 2, so what does this mean for you? It means your daily grind is sacred. That late night study session, that's worship. That extra hour you're putting into your side hustle, that's prayer in motion. That rejection you're bouncing back from, 2, that's faith in flesh and blood. Stop devaluing your hustle because it doesn't feel spiritual enough. Then the most spiritual thing you can do is use what God gave you. Think about the people who changed your life, the teachers, the mentors, the authors, to the leaders. What do they all have in common? They didn't just have a gift, they used it. They didn't just pray for impact, they worked for it. 2, and now their names live on in your story. That's the power of effort. That's the weight of legacy. Your grind isn't selfish, it's sacred. 2, because when you maximize your potential, you give others permission to do the same. Now, let's get psychological for a moment. Why do so many people shrink from their potential? Because they've bought into the lie that their contribution doesn't matter. 2, that they're just one person. But history isn't made by crowds, it's made by individuals who refuse to believe that lie. 2, that single mother working 2 jobs to put her kid through college. She's rewriting generational curses. 2, that teenager teaching himself to code in a war-torn country. He's building the future. That artist creating despite the critics. 2, she's healing souls she'll never meet. Your effort is never just about you. It's about the lives it will touch long after you're done. 2, here's what you need to understand. God didn't give you gifts to bury them. He didn't plant dreams in your heart to watch them collect dust. 2, that talent you're downplaying, that idea you're sitting on, that fire in your belly you keep ignoring. 2, that's not yours to waste. It's just to multiply, and every day you delay, the world misses out on what you were born to contribute to. So I need you to ask yourself, what will your effort teach? Will it teach complacency or courage? Will it teach excuses or excellence? Will it teach surrender or strength? Because someone is watching, Someone is waiting for proof that dreams are possible. 2, someone needs your story to become their survival guide at the end of the day. This isn't just about success. It's about significance. 2, it's about understanding that God's help isn't a passive handout, it's a dynamic partnership. He plants the vision, but you till the soil. 2, He provides the manna, but you gather it. He opens the Red Sea, but you walk through it. Every miracle in history followed someone's courageous decision to move first. That's the sacred equation. To your efforts thus power unstoppable destiny. So I leave you with this: the world doesn't need more dreamers who wait, it needs doers who rise. 2, people who pray like it all depends on God, then work like it all depends on them. People who see obstacles as invitations and challenges as catalysts. 2, people who understand that their grind isn't just building a life, it's honoring the giver of life. The question isn't whether God will help you. 2, He already has. The question is, what will you do with what you've been given? Stop waiting for permission. Stop begging for signs. 2, the power to change your life and impact generations has been in your hands all along. Now use it. Your faith demands it. Your legacy requires it. 2, and the world is waiting for it. Step into your divine partnership today and watch what happens when God meets your grit.